Afternoon. I was here again. So everything's been going well. Teams coming together. I've had some injuries. But I think it's time for our guys to play against other people. And it's been the last 3 or 4 practices haven't been very good. Haven't played very well. And I think they're just tired of playing against each other. I think the freshmen are trying to figure stuff out, and they're doing a good job with that. And our new guys are trying to figure it out. But I think we got good chemistry. I think they're playing hard, thinking they're executing and doing some things. I think I was figuring it out before I came down here. I've put in probably 10% more than I did the last 2 years offensively with a group that's a new group. So there's going to be some growing pains with that. And, I'm going to have to scale back some stuff after I figure out how we're going to play. I think there's a chance that we play big, and I think there's a chance that we play 4 guards. It could be a unique situation that we're just kind of working through right now. But defensively, I think we're ahead of schedule. Defensively, I think we'll be good. I think Obach and JJ give us a presence inside to block shots. And then I think our guards are pretty good. But we got a long way to go as far as being as good as we can. But it'll be good to get on the floor and see them play against other people on Saturday. Well, we've just had some guys. Dede sprained his ankle. He's missed some practices. Goodman's still, going. The thing with him is he's just got what he has to realize, and it's not his fault. When you have surgery, you're never going to be the same. And he's a kid that's never been hurt, never had surgery, so he's got to put in double the work that normal guy does, and he hasn't grasped that concept yet. So he had surgery in June, and he's still not back 100%, and it's 5 months. So he's just got to figure out what it's going to take. And I challenged him yesterday, and I'm not very optimistic that he plays a lot early, just because he's not ready. So that's on him. That's not on anybody but him. And then we've had some guys just be sick, so it's part of it. But we're excited. I mean, we got a lot of guys that can play. As far as you don't know how well they're going to play, but there's guys we can throw out there on the floor that I'm not afraid to play. So we got a lot of guys that we can throw out there.
When you say you're not optimistic he plays much early, does that mean Saturday?
I'm not optimistic he ever plays. That's just me challenging him.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No. Sometimes you have to challenge kids. So we'll see. He's practicing. He can do some things. Today he won't practice. And then probably tomorrow he'll get some practice time, and then we just have to see how it goes. I'm not in a rush to push him out there for action when he's not 100%.
The concern then, has it shifted at all from one day he'll be back to 100%, or
his problem's this. His problems is he's had multiple other injuries along with what he has for compensating with his deal. So he's had a foot problem, he's had an ankle problem, he's had an other knee problem, and that's all because of compensating for not rehabbing right, not doing what he should do, and having an ill-advised surgery.
about Devin?
Devin's been terrific. He'll start for us. He's been terrific. Now, if he can sustain that, that'll be great for us. He's played at a very high level, and he deserves it because he's been patient. He's bought into the program, and he's done a lot of good things.
He was thrown into a situation he probably, it wasn't ideal for him, obviously, last year. When Alex was hurt, I remember on the road at Utah State, he gets thrown in and made a couple quick mistakes. He's playing a different kind of role than what he was asked to do then because he got thrown in for Alex.
Right.
Is he when you say they're going to play big, is he the other big you're talking about?
Yeah, because he's our 4-man. I mean, that's big for us. I mean, I'm when we play big, it's by positions. Joe's a 4. I don't really label them, but Obach and JJ and Devin and Joe and Jordan, those guys considered bigs in our program. Now Sam and Deshaun and X, if they're out there on the floor with Cullen or Hugh or any combination, then they're not bigs. So, we'll see what happens with that. But, last year with the Utah State thing, I don't think he ever thought he was going to play, and I just kind of threw him in there because Alex was hurt and Obach had a couple fouls, and I'd given guys chances, and it was ready for somebody else to get another chance. And he was the one that had been working and doing what he's supposed to do. He just unfortunately got 3 fouls in like 8 seconds. So, it's a tough deal for him. But I think he'd be ready.
Is he's starting now? Do you have a chance to be a starter on this team all season? Does he have that opportunity, you think?
Yeah. Everybody has an opportunity to be a starter, but you have to perform. I mean, Cleveland did last year too. And we saw how that played out.
But when you say you got shot blockers in the middle, do you get points from Obach in the lane?
Yeah, I think he can just because of his length. I think he'll get some offensive rebounds. I think he's got a good touch. I think he's worked on his shot. I think he'll get fouled. I think he'll be able to make some foul shots. His biggest thing is our guards are going to put him in position to score. And are we going to put him in position to score? Now, we're not going to ask him to do some things that Cam and Alex could do, but we'll put him in situations where he can have angles and use his length. And he's really improved. I think he's improved, and I've been around him the most. But we'll see when he gets on the floor.
You talked about your team being ahead defensively. Have you seen the whole thing work where it looks like you guys could really do some things this year?
Well, I think I'm a little concerned about. I think we'll always be able to guard because it's not you don't really teach defense or skill. You teach philosophy or schemes, and we've got a pretty good deal on. We got a pretty good situation here on how we do that. So that's and that's just going to be desire of guys wanting to get stops, and you got a pretty good leader, and I think and Hugh's been a great defensive player, and I think Didi's a good defensive player. I think Cullen's come a long way because of his weight gain and his strength. And then you have Obach in the middle that if you come in there, it's like playing against you and I, Van, with badminton rackets. I mean, he's long. And, JJ's a different dimension because he takes up so much space. So they're a little bit different, but they'll help us. But I think defensively, we've got our scheme in, how we're going to play defensively. What we're going to do, out of makes and misses, I think we got a pretty good scheme in place with our players, and I think they've done a good job. I think that's why we're a little bit ahead. Offensively, it usually takes a little bit of time, but I think we got some guys that'll make some shots.
Coach, how's Hugh adapting to that old Hugh, the scoring type player that you want him to be?
He's been doing really well. He's making a lot of shots. Keeping stats. I think he's shooting 51% from 3 in practice and doing some things and shooting the ball a lot more. But it's all going to practice. Practice is practice. It's a little bit different than when it happens. So we'll see on Saturday. And then we got another exhibition game, then we're ready to go. So it's come around pretty quick. But, I think he's excited for it. I'm excited for him. I think our guys are playing well in practice. I think we're getting our other guys up to speed, but I think his role is pretty well defined on how he's going to play, and I think he's accepted it. But there's going to be times when we have to play him on the ball, and there's going to be times where he's going to have the ball, and we're going to have to play Cullen and some of those guys off the ball so they can give us baskets. So, I think you'll see a little different variety and versatility from him that we haven't seen.
When you say you've had a few bad practices, 3 or 4 in a row, I think is what you said earlier, and the young guys are still adapting and ready to play. I'm curious how some of those young guys handled the howl and 7,000.
They were overwhelmed. They were overwhelmed, and you could tell because some of them hadn't played in front of that many people. Let me not rephrase it, but let me just say we haven't had awful practices or bad practices. We just, in my mind, I'm I'm looking at the team I had last year and the team we've had in the years, and I got a new group. They're busting their butt, and they're playing hard. It's a learning process. Plus, we had a lot of tests this week. We had a lot of guys mentally drained, a lot of guys spending a lot of time academically, and we've been pushing them pretty hard. And I probably pushed them a little bit too hard because I want to get as much in as I can to see what sticks. And when you do that, you're gonna have some problems.
And I guess a little more specific, not so much that they were just overwhelmed with the fans so much, but a guy like Sam had such success at the Howell and fans were loving him. In the dunk
I know, but no, he had success in what though? He won a dunk contest. I mean, that's not success playing. I mean, he won a dunk contest. I mean, I won a dunk contest when I played. I mean, I can't. I mean, no, I mean, I won the Georgia Tech dunk contest. I mean, that didn't. I mean, it wasn't like that gave me a lot of confidence. I walked in with a big head. I mean, God. Yeah, I mean, Sam is quite a kid. They're just overwhelmed with the whole process in that we've really put it on them, if that makes sense. I mean, I've really asked them to do. Matter of fact, I just went on a recruiting thing, and I literally spent 2 hours with Lamont and Allen. I said, guys, we put a lot on these guys. Now I got to scale it back because I wanted to see what was going to work for us, what was going to work for our athletes, what's going to work for the players that we have, and now I've kind of understood what we're doing. But that first, 2 or 3 weeks, it hasn't been easy for them.
And the balance between still fighting for a starting spot that some of these guys are, and at some point they'll have to accept a role of coming off the bench. It's probably too early for any of that, right?
Well, I'll start. Cullen and Hugh will start, and Dede, and I'll start Devin and Obach. And then after that, I think I'll play 6 guys off the bench. I think I'll play Sam and X and Arthur. Arthur's done well. I play those 3 perimeter players. And then JJ will play, and Joe will play a little bit, and Jordan won't dress. But everybody else will play.
And Jordan's in that 6, but the injury's the only reason he won't play.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Coach, you mentioned putting in 10% more offensively at this point. Is that because, from a personnel standpoint, you feel like these guys can do different things from last year's team?
No, the reason why I did is because last year's team knew it all, so I didn't have to do a lot. Last year's team, I could kind of take, all right, this week we're going to work on zipper. This week we're going to work on this part of the offense. We were able to do that because they already knew it. They already been accustomed to it, and they knew the plays from the year before. Now I got 9 new guys that they don't have any idea. So I've just tried to throw it in as much as I can and get as far ahead as I can to see what I think will work for our team, but also to see what they can keep and what they don't keep. So that's been a process for them, and that's been a little bit difficult, but they've come away. Hopefully we'll have a good practice today, and we're going to scale back a little bit. But we're going to spend the next, from 3 o'clock to 3:30, we're going to walk through a lot because it's a lot for them. And when you're going to play 5 new guys, you got 9 new guys in your program. It's a different deal. It's like I said earlier. I did a radio thing, and they asked me what the difference was in this year's team and last year's team. Last year's team, I took over a well-oiled machine that we just were trying to keep it going in the right direction. We had a lot of veteran players back, had some really, really good players. I had my whole coaching staff. This year's team is like I took over a program that was not very successful and I went somewhere else, if that makes any sense, where I have to get new players. I had to get a new coach. I got a new strength coach. So it's kind of a situation like that I'm really excited about. And I'm really excited about the players and the recruiting we've been able to do. But, we're going to have to give these guys a little bit of chance. I mean, they're going to stumble and they're going to have some issues, but I think they're going to be strong-willed enough and led by some good guys that they're going to be okay.
But you don't dimension to Cullen, just him playing the point to push it as much as possible? Is that just
I just think that's in his nature. I think we want to play a little faster and get it up. The thing that he's had to learn, he's done a really good job, is that when he pushes and he's by himself, he's got to slow down. And, that's hard for anybody that plays at that pace. It was hard for me that I played at that pace. But I think you got to really take advantage and see what you can get offensively, and then once you don't have anything or have any numbers, then that's when you got to execute. But I think all our guys will play at a faster pace because we're more athletic. I mean, we have 6 or 7 really good, talented guards that are athletic. I mean, they can run, they can jump. They're not the normal basketball skilled wing people. They got to work on their ball handling, they got to work on their shooting, but they're athletic. So, hopefully we can take advantage of that. Like how Dede played at the end of last year, I hope he can play like that all of this year, because I think that's the type game he can play and things he can do. But I think we got a lot of guys that can do that in a fast-paced or up-tempo game.
What are you hoping to see, Zach?
I just hope they have fun. I'm glad that Western New Mexico's coming in. Always good to give back to our state schools, and excited for them to come and play in the pit, which is a great experience, and it'll be good for those kids. But I just want my guys to go out and have fun, really enjoy playing against somebody else and wearing a uniform and going down the ramp. And, Jeff made a good point. Some of those guys were overwhelmed at the How, but that's why we have it, because it's a different deal here. And, I think they'll enjoy it. I think it'll be good because the fans can come out and see our team, and it'll be good. It'll be good all around. But I just want them to enjoy it and all the hard work they put into it. Now it's time to play.
So you'll of course be mixing up, trying to see what
You won't see a lot. You'll see a lot of different people play, but you won't see a lot. You won't see. It'll be very basic, but there'll be a lot of players.
That'll be it for Christian. We're running lots of the
How
players.
fast do they become accustomed to that, though? That they've been through the How. Now a guy like Longwood or Xavier who play basketball all their life.
Right.
Get on the floor for 3 or 4 minutes, and then does it just come to them?
No, I think those guys will be okay. I just think it's going to be the biggest adjustment for those guys is going to be playing every minute of every game in high school to I got to accept a role and I'm only going to play a certain amount of minutes. And that's always the biggest adjustment for any freshman.
What happened to your ankle?
Rolled it.
Rolled
Yeah.
How long ago, and have you been able? I mean, how does it feel?
I feel like I'm at 95% right now. Yeah, close to 100. I mean,
Which one, right or left?
right.
You shouldn't tell the enemy that.
Hey, Deshaun, what are you guys hoping to accomplish at the exhibition game Saturday? Like, what would you like to see come out of the game?
Basically, excitement and fun, and do some things that coach think that we cannot do, things like that.
The challenge has been made.
Yeah, challenges.
Sean, Coach says the up-tempo style benefits you. How does it benefit you?
That's like I'm a run a gun type of guy. Like, I'm from Chicago. Like when I was playing in Chicago, that's like what we basically do, like run a gun. So I think that'll help me. That'll help me out a lot. Like, I think it'll help me out a lot.
In attacking the basket and that kind of thing?
Yeah, rebounding, doing all those type of things that I love to do.
Coach said you guys have had a lot more thrown at you this year than you did a year ago. I'm curious what you've seen in practice. A lot of new guys. You're the senior now. Have practices been going okay? You said you guys have had a few in a row that maybe aren't up to his standard. What have you seen in practice?
It's been kind of like of a struggle, but it's a lot of difference from last year because the new players this year, they picking up the plays more faster. Like, for example, last year, it took me a long time. The new guys, they getting the plays down packed.
When he said he threw a lot at you, could you tell? Because you've been here before, so were you just like, did you feel overwhelmed too? Or?
Yeah, so I had to get in my drop box where we got all the plays at. So I've been doing that to kind of refresh my memory.
What has that been like, going at that pace, with a lot dumped on you and you guys trying to lead by example and all that?
I mean, it's a challenge, It's a challenge for us. See if we can handle it. And I think we could. And we will.
Do you feel that leadership role? I mean, we know it's kind of put on cue, but you're a senior too. Do you feel that?
Yeah, kind of. Because some of the guys, they look up to me as well. Like, if anything they need help with, they ask me, like with plays and things like that. Yeah.
What you did last year.
I feel like I just have to be more assertive this year. Last year, there's obviously Kendall. Kendall was playing that primary guard position, so I learned a lot from him, and I just feel like I have to come in this year being more assertive and make plays for my teammates.
How much do you weigh?
Like 192, 193. So
And
it's,
how is that, like, does it feel any different to you?
yeah, it feels a lot different. When I'm driving to the basket, can't get pushed off my mark as much, and feel stronger defensively as well.
What were you at the end of, at the start of last year, weight-wise?
Started last year, I was at like probably mid 70s, mid 170s, and then I ended around there too. So it's about, yeah.
Let's talk about how, you know, you probably already knew some of this stuff because, you know, this your dad, you've been around the program, but like Coach said, he threw a lot at you guys.
Mhm.
And what was that like?
I mean, it was a process. I mean, the guys all had to learn the plays, and it's still a process. I mean, we're still learning the plays, so the guys are picking them up, and they're still learning. So we just got to keep working as a group and get better at it.
Coach said you, every now and then, you're an up-tempo guy, that's how you want to play anyway, so what you guys are trying to do in general probably fits you. He told us that he wants you to slow down when it's just you sometimes. How have you adapted to that? Have you been able yet to find a slower gear?
Oh yeah, I mean, I've been working a lot on my half-court offenses. My half-court offense, I've been trying to use less dribbles, trying to play more precise, and I'm able to, whenever I see I don't have numbers, I'm able to pull it back out and run the offense for the team.
Is it odd at all that, I know Kremens told him when he was at Tech to slow down. That was what Kremens kept telling him, to slow down, and now he's telling you the exact same thing. Obviously, you don't know how he handled it, but do you ever get frustrated that you're being told to slow down, because probably all through high school you were told, yeah, that's your game, keep going, push.
I mean, it's funny because I saw Coach Kremens in Charleston, and he was telling me the same thing. He always had to tell my dad to slow down, and I mean, there's a lot of similarities between me and my dad's game. So, I mean, I don't get frustrated. It's going to get me better if I learn to slow down, and which I've been doing a good job at. So, it's just going to make me a better player.
What are you, I asked Deshaun the same thing, what are you guys hoping to get out of the exhibition game Saturday? Just because, I mean, you know, Coach kept saying you guys, it's time to go play somebody else.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be fun. I mean, all the new guys are going to get their first experience at the pit. I mean, there's going to be a lot of people there. They're going to be able to experience it before a real game, which will be really helpful for them. So we're just trying to go out there and have fun. I mean, of course, win the game, but we're just trying to have fun.
And the new guys getting used to, like, he was talking about being overwhelmed at the Lobo, how the new guys getting used to all the rabid Lobo fans. How's that been? Are they like, wow, this is crazy?
Well, I think they're more excited. I think they're more excited than overwhelmed. I mean, of course, at Lauderdale, when you play at a prep school, Sam, like, obviously barely plays in front of any people because it's a prep school. So, I mean, it's just a different experience. So I think they're more excited, and they'll enjoy the experience.
Is this a mindset, kind of playing off Jeff's question, the way you play the game and at the tempo you play the game, to understand that, okay, sometimes I've got to pull this out and I've got to get us organized and I've got to do the other things. Is that something that excites you about playing the point?
Oh, yeah. I mean, of course, being able to control the tempo of the game, that's a big key for the point guard role. They have to control the tempo, control the speed of the game. So I'm hoping I do a really good job at that this year for the team.
From what I've seen so far, it looks like you're more committed on the defensive end, too. Like, is there a new sort of focus that you've sort of brought to playing that end of the floor?
I just refocused myself on the defensive end in high school. I mean, I didn't guard as well as I could, and last year I felt like I needed to get stronger on the defensive side. So this year I just devoted myself to get better on the defensive side and guard as well as I can.
Is it as much attitude as it is physical, or is it both?
It's both. It's both, yes.
So do you feel as fast, weighing 192 now? Do you feel any different when you're playing, or do you feel the same? You can still, you're fluid moving?
That was the key with the new strength coach, Jeremy. We tried to add weight, but not lose my quickness and my speed. So that I feel like the same, but mainly I feel stronger when I'm on the court.
How much does it benefit you to have Hugh alongside you on the floor?
Oh, it's the most beneficial thing in the world. Hugh's a winner. He's played point guard for 3 years. He's played the role side of it, so he can help me throughout the whole season.
That'll do it for Colin Check.